Hey guys, how's it going? It's Eli, and that's right, you read the title. I am giving my thoughts on the recent casting announcement for Avengers Doomsday. Yes, so as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, very recently, Marvel Entertainment, they did a live stream, announcing whom is to appear so far in the next upcoming Avengers film, which being Doomsday. And I myself did attend and watch the stream, and I know my mom did while she was working, but yeah. I gotta say, because the stream itself, because it was taking its time, but I get it, and I think we all should too, where, building up on, whom they were going to announce next, from one chair to the next, we would see these chairs, the names of the cast members for Avengers Doomsday would show, the stream taking its time and, just building up the suspense and, oh, who's going to be next? And yeah, and I just, of course, recall when looking at the comments in the live chat, everybody just weird, some of them being weird, as usual, where point being that they would guess and wonder whom would be next, their names and such, but yeah, anyways. And after the stream, they did release a video where, showing all the chairs, and then Robert Downey Jr. pops in, and just, yeah, that was great. So whom is so far been announced to appear in Avengers Doomsday? Well, first off, I'll start with, the main Avengers, the members and such, from, say, Thor and so on, just, yeah. And by the way, because if you noticed, there are chapters for this video, because why not? Yeah, I think for this it works. So, first off, from the main top members of the Avengers, from, say, Thor, Ant-Man, Falcon, and Bucky Barnes, etc. Yeah. Well, and technically, Falcon being the new Captain America, Sam. Yeah. So, it's obvious, right, that we were going to be seeing them appear and, to be a part of Doomsday. And that especially goes for, say, Sam and Bucky and, even say, Thor. And Ant-Man. And I like how in the stream, only in the stream, when they showed Paul Rudd's name, his chair was tiny. How fitting is that? Yeah. And just, since we knew, we had a good feeling, of course, that they were going to appear, and most notably Thor, and especially for Thor, hopefully, because despite how the last Thor film did, being, more goofy and such, and how the character of Thor was done, it wasn't just that. There were still some serious stuff in Love and Thunder and for the character of Thor, but I'm just saying, but, surely as though, for Thor being in the next Avengers film, he will be really good, of course, yeah, and have that more serious tone to Thor, but, still have some of those funny moments. I mean, of course, we have to have those funny moments in the character of Thor, right? But it'll be great to see, that Chris Hemsworth, once again, wielding the hammer, and, just being the god, the mighty god of thunder and such. And, for Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, especially because, after, say, Captain America Brave New World and Thunderbolts, because obviously with them coming back, and, especially that goes for Sam, because, him already becoming the new Captain America, so that'll be really awesome. And not to mention that the new Falcon, the new Falcon, whom we first saw in Brave New World, being played by Danny Ramirez. I think I'm butchering his name a little, but I think you know who I'm talking about, so yeah. I think he did very well. so far as the new Falcon, and it'll be great to see him in action some more, and especially in the Avengers. That'll be great. Yep. Brave New World was just the start / the beginning for the new Falcon, and what will come from next. I like that. And also, Black Panther, the new Black Panther, I should say, being played by Letitia Wright. I don't know if I'm getting her first name right, but you know who I'm talking about. The late T'Challa, his sister, who took on the role and helmet, gear, and such as Black Panther, and she did very well in the last Black Panther film, and to see her once again, this time in the Avengers, joining in with the other members of the Avengers, it'll be great. It'll be great to see her in action in this, and yeah. And also, while we're on that subject still of Black Panther, Numar, yeah, because Numar, who will once again be played by Tenech Hurete, you know who it is, yeah. It's nice to see that he's joining in, and especially after the events of Wakanda Forever, where, yeah, as I recall, Namor, he did start to redeem, and yeah, peace was made between him and his people with the people of Wakanda. So yeah, so, we'll wait and see. I'm sure as though, maybe possibly, he will, join with the Avengers, but, we don't really know fully yet on what his part will be in Avengers Doomsday, but, well, we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, and next, to whom else to talk about? Me to talk about. Shang-Chi. Yes. Was it not obvious that we were going to get Shang-Chi in the Avengers movies? And yeah, it'll be great to see Shang-Chi be in the next Avengers film. And, of course, Shang-Chi, once again, being played by Simu Liu, if I'm pronouncing his full name right. Yeah. The first Shang-Chi film was really, really good. And I especially recall, say, my parents, they especially really enjoyed Shang-Chi. And, of course, I did too. So it'll be great to see him in action and with the powers he has and with the 10 rings. Oh, yeah, that's gonna be really awesome. And also, can't forget to mention him too, because to get back to, say, Black Panther, territory, Winston Duke, who will once again play Baku, and I think by now he has become, even my mom thinks so too, that he has become the new king of Wakanda. Probably so, but yeah, surely he'll more than likely join in with the Avengers. Hey, just like how he did so in the last 2 Avengers films. So it'll be great to once again see Winston Duke in this, and yeah, just we'll have to wait and see what Baku's part will be in this. But yeah, but surely, obviously, he's gonna join in the battle, so, Anyways, okay, alright, so now, let's talk about, the Fantastic Four. Yes, so, and again, chapters, so you get the idea. So, chapter 2, the Fantastic Four. Well, it's obvious that we were going to get the Fantastic Four in the next 2 Avengers films, right? They even established this before we had gotten the casting announcements. So, yeah, so we knew already that, we are to expect the Fantastic Four appearing, starting with Doomsday. And especially since, Fantastic Four, the first steps, that will tie directly to the next 2 Avengers films, yeah. But it's great to see that, yeah, we're finally going to see the Fantastic Four alongside with the Avengers, and whom they're going to go up against, and that, of course, most notably being Doctor Doom. And yeah, let's go ahead and talk about him too, because it's obvious too. Robert Downey Jr. going to be in Doomsday and Secret Wars, this time playing Doctor Doom. And yep, it'll be interesting to see how this goes down, and who knows, because I mean, maybe, probably not, because, Doctor Doom is probably a different variant and not a part of, the same world with these variations of the Fantastic Four characters, but, we'll just have to wait and see. But I have a good feeling. Probably not, yeah. It's just Doctor Doom from another world. Yeah, not from the same world as these Fantastic Four variations. But yeah, it'll be great to see what Robert Downey Jr. brings to the performance of Doctor Doom. I know a few people, and I think, yeah, because that also goes for, and shout out to my friend Tiki from So You Want to Be an Imagineer, hoping that maybe Downey's performance as Victor Von Doom could be very different. Maybe, I guess, say, what he brought to Oppenheimer. Maybe, in other words, maybe his role as Victor Von Doom should not be anything comic bookish or something, and I'm sure some of you feel that way too. Maybe possibly, because I'm sure as though, and I think, yeah, from what I heard, the Russo brothers have so far said some positive things on what Downey is going to be doing, portraying Victor Von Doom. So, yeah. But overall, I can't wait. And, yeah. And as for the Fantastic Four characters, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, because it's obvious that, for their movie, The First Steps, more than likely, because they're going to go from their main world to the main world of the MCU. Yeah, because if possibly, there are those that speculate that maybe something bad is going to happen to their Earth, and they're gonna end up being in the main Earth and such, the MCU. Seems more likely, yeah. That's a really good possibility, but overall, we're gonna have to wait and see. But we know for a fact, right, that clearly Fantastic Four: The First Steps is going to end off and, with an end credit scene, whatever, leading straight to Doomsday. So, yeah, that'll be exciting. But yeah, from Eben Moss, what's his last name, to Vanessa Kirby, Pedro Pascal, Joseph Quinn, how their Fantastic Four characters are going to interact with the other characters in Doomsday. That'll be exciting, yeah. Just overall, Fantastic Four finally making their debut in an Avengers movie. That goes for 2. Can't wait. All right, so with that out of the way on Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts. Yes, I think it was obvious, too, that we were going to expect seeing the Thunderbolts in the next 2 Avengers films. Well, and the Thunderbolts movie itself being another tie-in to Avengers Doomsday and from there on. Yeah. And on Thunderbolts, the movie, because if I've talked about this before in other videos, I don't know, because, yeah, I mean, even, I think most notably, yeah, when I reacted to the trailers, there had so far been some positive responses on Thunderbolts, especially whom are the writers for Thunderbolts, and yeah, even what some of the cast members have said about Thunderbolts, yeah, and also most notably how Thunderbolts being the movie itself being completely different and such, say the Suicide Squad films from DC. You see, just yeah, and that's good. That's good to hear. But yeah. From Hannah John Kamen to David Harbour, of course, Sebastian Stan, and Florence Pugh and Wyatt Russell, seeing them in action with the other characters in the next 2 Avengers films, that'll be awesome. That'll be really awesome to see. Yeah, because, overall, I can't wait until the Thunderbolts movie itself comes out, and obviously, the same goes for Thunderbolts. There's going to be something at the end credits where, there's going to be a tease and such for Avengers, Doomsday, etc. But we'll have to wait and see. And hopefully, the Thunderbolts movie itself will turn out pretty good, because again, like I said, there's been some positive things on social media where it seems like that, yeah, Thunderbolts might turn out really good. Yeah, but overall, Thunderbolts being a part of the Avengers starting with Doomsday, Can't wait. Okay, so Thunderbolts out of the way. Now we get into some juicy territory right here. X-Men! Yes, we're finally getting the X-Men in the Avengers movies. And it's the original cast members whom we first saw portray these characters. Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Kelsey Grammer, Rebecca Romijn, Alan Cumming, and James Marsden. That's awesome! And I remember, because when I was watching the stream and when each of their names popped up, starting with, say, Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, I was just like, yes! And I know that my parents, they were also excited to hear, too. And even when Kelsey Grammer's name first popped up, that was great. And speaking of Kelsey, because, Kelsey Grammer, who obviously will once again reprise the role of Beast, but not the exact same Beast that we saw in the X-Men films. This is a different variant. I presume, probably so, it could be the same Beast that we saw in, one of the end credit scenes of the Marvels. If you know, you know. But yeah, spoilers. But yeah, it seems more than likely. It's probably that Beast variant. Yeah. And who knows on, say, which variant, specific variant of Professor X / Charles Xavier it'll be, because the last variant we saw of Charles Xavier, once again, being played by Patrick Stewart, was in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, who got killed. But yeah. But, of course, will be, Charles Xavier, it's going to be a different variant, of course, who, of course, will once again be played by Patrick Stewart. And it'll be really awesome. Ian McKellen, I was definitely happy to see, because, yeah, who knows what this variant of Magneto's going to be like, and what his wardrobe's going to look like. Okay, it's obvious that by now, and starting with the Multiverse of Madness, some of the Marvel characters and their wardrobes looking very identical, almost, to how they are in the comics, comic accurate. That especially goes for, say, Charles Xavier. He's in the floating wheelchair, and Logan / Wolverine, in the yellow suit, and Deadpool and Wolverine. So it's obvious that the same's gonna go for, say, Beast and the wardrobe he'll have on, but also Magneto and Cyclops, Mystique, Nightcrawler. That'll be awesome. And it's great to see that Alan Cumming is gonna, have more to do playing the character of Nightcrawler. Because, underrated performance, wouldn't you say? When he first played the character in X2, X-Men Unite, the second installment of the X-Men films. I mean, he was great. He was great as Nightcrawler, but, there could have been more. And I think maybe possibly for Doomsday, we're going to get more of what Alan Cumming is going to bring to Nightcrawler, different variant of Nightcrawler. And Mystique, once again, being played by Rebecca Romijn. Yeah, it'll be exciting to see what she'll bring to a different variant of Mystique / Raven, that being her actual name. Mystique being her actual name, but, whatever. And James Marsden, once again, reprising the role of Cyclops, different variant of Cyclops. And I recall hearing that, and if any of you knew about this too, that James Marsden himself had expressed interest in coming back to play Cyclops, and saying that he'd be a fool if he turned down the offer of coming back to reprise the role of Cyclops / Scott. And yeah, so it's great to see that he's coming back, and oh boy, because what his wardrobe's gonna look like, and especially because the special device, for his eyes, that'll be awesome. And what if, I don't know, because maybe he'll wear those special glasses. It depends, and with how this variant of Cyclops is going to be, we'll just have to wait and see. And also, yeah, because coming back to Ian McKellen as Magneto / Eric, well, I would figure, possibly, maybe he'll have the wardrobe for him as Magneto look almost identical to how it is in the comics, you know, with the red and purple. That will be really awesome. And it's hard to tell, especially for, say, Magneto and Mystique, if they're going to be on the good side, if they're going to be helping out, like, the other heroes, the Avengers, and the good X-Men characters. Maybe possibly, because, you know, Magneto, he's not really a full-blown villain. He's an anti-character. Well, I mean, the same also goes for Mystique, yeah, because they weren't bad from the start. They just had, especially that goes for Eric, they just had different feelings/opinions on humanity. You know, how humans feel towards mutants, okay? So maybe it's possible that we will see Magneto and Mystique, both of them, be good and help out the good guys, the heroes. Yeah. And if, you know, because especially, like, how they view the threat of Doctor Doom. Yeah. Also, can't forget to mention him as well, because am I done on the X-Men? Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But I will also, one other thing. Okay, by now we know that Kelsey Grammer, who reprised the role of Beast in one of the end credit scenes for the Marvels, we know that it was completely CG and such, you know? So it's obvious that, yeah, Kelsey's too old to get in that makeup and such and be in action. You know, that's understandable. And I think that, yeah, bringing Beast to life in CG and with, you know, almost the likeness of Kelsey, you know, and how he looked in the X-Men films is acceptable. And it totally worked when he appeared in the Marvels. So obviously that's going to happen again. But as for Mystique, well, I do wonder, are we going to see Rebecca in the makeup once again? Or are they going to have Mystique have that specific looking wardrobe where she wears white? Possibly. I mean, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. And it's, you know, and whatever plans they have for Mystique, and especially, you know, because of Rebecca Romaine and what she wants to do playing Mystique, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. But hopefully it'll be good, no doubt. All right, but yeah, and I presume, and before, one last thing on the X-Men, I presume that we're going to see the exact same thing like we saw with Charles in Multiverse of Madness, in the yellow floating chair, probably, but overall, we're gonna have to wait and see. Yeah. Okay, so with the X-Men out of the way, cannot forget to mention him. Loki! Tom Hiddleston is back as Loki, and that's really awesome to see. Yeah, because Loki, well, you know, despite the fact what happens to him at the end of Season 2, well, even my mom and I, we were having conversations about this on however they're going to explain this, and how Loki is going to be there, reuniting with his brother, obviously, and, well, helping out the Avengers, you know, now being one of the good guys officially. It's hard to tell right now, but overall, we're all happy to see and know that Tom Hiddleston is coming back as Loki. Yeah. And also, how did I forget about him? Because he, too, is an X-Men. Gambit. Yes, Gambit, yeah. I almost thought I got the name wrong, but no, Gambit. Once again, going to be played by Channing Tatum, whom we first saw him play the character in Deadpool and Wolverine. And say what you will about Channing Tatum, I know, but to me, I like him as an actor. I've liked him in a couple of movies, and I think what he brought to the performance portraying Gambit, he did pretty good. Especially, I think he nailed the likeness to how Gambit looks in the comics, and with the right-looking wardrobe that Gambit has, and nailing the accent. He did the accent pretty good for Gambit. Even my mom thought so, too. She did give him that. The accent. That's it. So, yeah. But, yeah. Who knows? Like, maybe it won't be the exact same variant of Gambit that we saw in Deadpool and Wolverine, but you never know. But I'm sure, more than likely, he'll probably have the exact same looking wardrobe that he had on in Deadpool and Wolverine, no doubt. So, yeah, but overall, it's nice to see that, yeah, he's going to be a part of this. Yeah. Is there anyone else that I'm missing? No. Ooh, okay. Yeah, no, not really. Okay, so the last thing I will talk about, well, because first off, I did see on social media where apparently some people were not happy with the cast announcements, and yeah, one of the main reasons, obviously, is because we're still missing a good chunk of other characters from, say, Tom Holland, most notably, as Spider-Man, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Scarlet Witch / Wanda, Vision, the Young Avengers, Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop, like, you name it. Well, guys, hear me out when I say this. It's obvious that whom has so far been announced, it's not just going to be them, okay? Surely, and even when we come to, say, Secret Wars, we're going to have more characters, okay? But, we'll just, we just have to be patient some more, and, we know Marvel. They always keep things top secret on, whom we don't know will be, like in, say, the Avengers films. You get what I'm saying? Just, yeah. Even I saw this. I saw this on Facebook, and, where apparently, because Robert Downey Jr. and Marvel Studios, they said something, I think, on Instagram where, basically to put it this, teasing that there will be more cast members announced for, Doomsday. So, yeah, like I said, there's no way that whom has been announced to appear in Doomsday, it's not just going to be them, okay? Now, I will admit that, for me, I was a bit disappointed. I was hoping that, yeah, we would, see names like, say, Tom Holland, or maybe Chris Pratt, or Haley Steinfeld, Brie Larson, but nope. At least for now, we haven't, we don't know yet, if we are to see them in Doomsday, but probably more than likely. Not to mention, I did see this where, apparently there were a couple of, leaked concept arts for Doomsday, if anybody had seen them too. Yeah. Some of them featuring Star-Lord, as well as White Vision, the Young Avengers, Wong, so yeah. And that's another thing too, because also other big names that were not so far announced, Benedict Cumberbatch, Mark Ruffalo, What's-Him-Face who plays Wong, and Paul Bettany. Yeah, but hopefully we'll hear more, and surely we're probably going to get a part 2 announcement on whom else is going to appear in Doomsday and from there on. But yeah, the biggest ones for me, that I was disappointed that were so far not announced was, say, Kate Bishop and any of the members of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. But don't get me wrong, yeah, from, say, Doctor Strange, Bruce Banner, Spider-Man, yeah, them too, of course. Also, Charlie Cox. Charlie Cox was not announced either, but, again, hopefully he will be, and that goes for everybody else. We'll just have to wait and see, okay? This is whom we know so far is going to be in Doomsday, and surely, maybe in the next couple of months, we'll know more, and maybe we'll get a part 2 announcement of the cast members for Doomsday and so on. Yeah. But overall, and with that being said, I think that, yeah, the announcements so far for whom is going to be in Doomsday, pretty awesome, and again, we'll have to wait and see on whom else is going to be announced and will appear in Doomsday and by the next Avengers film, which, of course, being Secret Wars, yeah. And say what you will, if anybody of you didn't really like the announcement that they did specifically and whom is to appear in this, not everybody being announced, but be patient, guys. That's all I can say. Yeah. But overall, that was pretty good with the announcement and, whom we know is going to be in Doomsday so far. Just, yeah, I can't wait. And yeah, and what about you guys? I mean, again, how do you feel about this? Did any of you attend to the live stream that they did? Do you have mixed feelings? And if you feel the same way as I do, that, without a doubt, we're going to get more announcements, but we have to be patient some more, okay? Besides, production has just begun, I should say, for Doomsday. So, yeah. And with what I've had to say, just leave comments and give this video a like, as always. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me giving my thoughts on the cast announcements for Avengers Doomsday so far. And again, hopefully we'll get another casting announcement, a part 2. But we'll have to wait and see. It's not just going to be them, okay? It's totally obvious. Yeah. I'll see you guys in the next video, and, well, I'll obviously do another one of these, if, at some point we'll get another casting announcement, and yeah, I'll give my thoughts on that. Yeah. So look forward to that. Take care, peace out, and Avengers, assemble.